Let's have a chat about what Troy wrote in the Australian newspaper today, the buyer's remorse that may well be there about Anthony Albanese as leader. You've been building to this for some time, but the simple question here is, should the ALP have left Anthony Albanese on the shelf? Why have you come to that conclusion?
Well, I've been talking to senior Labor MPs, and one of them told me just a few days ago that for a guy that wanted the job so much, he seems to have got it and doesn't know what to do with it. And so that's coming from a senior member of his front bench, and there's others on the back bench who are equally disappointed and unhappy, and there's a general consensus, I think, that he's turned out to be worse than many people thought. Look, it's almost 6 months since the election, Paul, and there's been no major repositioning of Labor, nothing new on strategy, nothing new on policy. Where's Anthony Albanese's big vision for the Labor Party and for the country? There's been absolutely nothing, yet we've had all these other front benches outlining where they think the Labor Party should go and suggesting that they've learnt the lessons from the election, but he hasn't. And the Labor Party's facing an existential crisis. You know, it's got less than 35% of the primary vote at the last three elections, 33% just 5 months ago, and it's flatlining in the polls. It's still 33%. So, you know, where's the beef with Anthony Albanese? It's just not there.
But also, I mean, let's compare elbow with elbow, right? Straight after the election, hashtag listening tour, off there to point at a few things in Queensland. We get you on coal mining, we get you on Adani, we're pro. Then a few months later, straight back into the parliament, not just vote once for a Greens amendment, but try to get your own bill passed about a climate emergency, which would, among other things, kill off coal mining.
Absolutely. Look, this climate emergency motion is just a disaster, I think, politically for Labor. It just shows the voters they haven't learnt anything. It was very interesting to see Daniel Andrews, who, you know, is quite a self-styled progressive Premier of the great state of Victoria. He said, look, there'll be no climate emergency motions moved in that parliament because he's a government of action, not one of words. So, look, even if Daniel Andrews is saying it, that is not getting through to Anthony Albanese. And, of course, Labor's divided on climate policy between Mark Butler at one extreme and Joel Fitzgibbon in the more sort of sensible centre, I think, approaching climate change. But, look, that climate emergency language signals to Labor working class and blue-collar voters who largely deserted the party at the last election, that Labor's coming after their jobs and going to make them pay more for their energy bills. So that's the message that voters are hearing, yet Labor is like making this a priority. And if it was such an emergency and such a catastrophe and such an urgent thing, where's the policies? Where's their plan to deal with it? There's none.
Correct.